The long wait is finally over. The Bleach 1000 Year Blood War is here, and Bleach fans can finally enjoy new Bleach anime episodes for the first time in a decade. For context, I read the 1000 Year Blood War arc about a year ago and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad to see some of my favorite scenes from the manga get animated, and I can't wait for the next cour. I won't be talking about the story all too much unless it relates to anime additions or removals. I feel that talking about the story in detail should be saved for a review about the entire 1000 Year Blood War. As this is a review video, I will be showing scenes from the episodes and talking about them, which means there will be spoilers ahead. I hope you enjoy the video, and let's get right into it. For the most part, the Bleach 1000 Year Blood War anime did a good job on the visuals. My personal favorite was the CGI. It was a nice change when compared to the old anime. After seeing the Akudama Drive anime, I can see they're putting their talent from there into Bleach with the excellent CGI work. The Quincy's blue Ryatsu with the chaotic blue and white particles stands out the most. It gives some weight to their attacks, and I believe the chaotic nature suits the Quincy's due to their different use of Ryatsu when compared to Hollows, Soul Reapers, and Fullbringer. The CGI on the Soul Reapers were done very well too. Ichigo was given this nice yellow hue when he activates his Bankai. I like this a little better than how it was done in the old anime. Unohana's Minazuki, while only for a couple of seconds, has a nice CGI blood effect. Sasakibe's Koko Gunryo Rikyu has a nice effect, kinda like that of Yuha's sword. The CGI here blends well with the animation and doesn't seem off-putting. It honestly seems like they poured their heart and soul into the CGI on Byakuya's abilities because it looks amazing. I remember seeing the effects from one of the PVs and I enjoyed it in the anime as well. I'm happy about how the rain was done in this cour. I've seen the teams work with CGI rain in Akudama Drive and I love seeing it here. It was really important to get the rain done right since it elevates moments like Yamamoto's demise and the Everything But the Rain arc. Some other notable examples are Orihime's Shiten Koshun that looks way better than the solid yellow she had in the old anime, the Quincy's Shadow, and the Void of the Garganta given this ethereal look. The vast majority of the cour is well animated, especially the scenes done or corrected by Hiroyuki Yamashita, Yoshihiro Kano, and Satoshi Sakai. They were my favorite scenes in the cour. My favorite scene is when Ichigo first goes Bankai and uses his Getsuga Tensho. I would say it's the best animation of the cour and is a great way to start off the cour. There was some excellent Sakuga done throughout the cour, and especially so in episode 6. I was honestly shocked when I saw Yamamoto just going all out against Roid. Even though I knew what was going to happen, the animation definitely boosted the atmosphere of the fight compared to the manga. There were several great cuts of animation in this episode. The animators of episode 6 did an excellent job making this fight pop. It seemed like there was Sakuga every second, and I was very pleased with how the episode was handled. The direction and animation of Ichigo vs Yuha was perfect in my opinion. The impact frame in the beginning never gets old to me. I still watch this fight repeatedly because it looks so good. The character models were kept consistent, and I love the rotation of the view around Ichigo and Yuha. The clashing of the red and blue Ryatsu is amazing in my opinion, and finally the Getsuga Tensho cut during this interaction looked insane. Kenpachi vs Unohana and the Blade as Me were definitely priority moments for the anime, and the animation there did not disappoint. Now I'll go into some of the stuff I didn't really like visually. First, I want to talk about the inconsistency in character models. The instances that come to mind are during Ichigo, Yuha, and Yamamoto scenes. Across the cour, it feels like their looks change, even sometimes in the same episode. I do hope this issue is fixed by the time we get to the next cour. Second, I think limited animation is holding back some of the episodes of the cour. Sometimes there are scenes that lack frames leading up to keyframes or are sometimes still images. I feel like this might be an issue of storyboarding. If the storyboarder doesn't do the job properly, then you can get episodes with limited animation or still images. Third, I want to talk about the speed lines. I won't spend too much time talking about this since I didn't really think it was a problem other than episode 4. The issue with the speed lines in episode 4 is that they completely block out the background and take me out of the scene. There were times when I enjoyed the speed lines in Bleach, but in episode 4 I think the speed lines are too overbearing and detract from the scene. Lastly, I think the pink aesthetic for the anime and OP doesn't suit Bleach. I understand completely why Taguchi chose pink. The color he chose is called Wild Strawberry, and strawberry is in reference to Ichigo, which translates to strawberry in Japanese. However, I definitely think either red or having black and white would have suited the anime much more. Red because it still works for the strawberry reference, since they're red, but also blood is red and could be related to the fact that it's the 1000 Year Blood War. I also think black and white works well because it reminds me of manga panels, and people only had the choice of consuming Bleach's 1000 Year Blood War through the manga for the past decade. As well, Taguchi wanted a unique OP, and I think having black and white for an OP is pretty unique, at least from the OPs that I've seen. I don't only think this for the OP though, I think the red or black and white aesthetics could have worked for the flashbacks as well. Instead, they have lots of pink injected into the scenes, and it takes me out of the scenes each time. I also think the pink aesthetic during the Old Man Zangetsu reveal was kind of jarring. I would have preferred the blue sky from the old anime, or just have it be black and white. Taguchi didn't need to change this aspect, the inner world of Ichigo was fine the way it was. While I do love Taguchi's directing here, and even in Hakadama Drive, I feel that the pink is a miss. The sound design, voice acting, and soundtrack were fantastic. The sound effects in the anime were a 10 out of 10 to me. The Quincy Shadow is by far the best one. When I first heard it, I was very surprised. There were plenty of other good sound effects as well. The voice acting is also a 10 out of 10 for me, referring to the sub version. I've seen clips from the dub version and I wasn't really feeling it. It feels like the voice actors working on the new anime did their best and I felt really immersed into the show. Shiro Sagasu's music is what really got me into the old Bleach anime with songs like Stand Up Be Strong, Invasion, and Cometh the Hour Part B. He is still at the top of his game and is composing amazing songs for the new Bleach 1000 Year Blood War anime. Some of these songs are in my top 5 Bleach soundtracks of all time. My favorite song for this core is the song that plays when Ichigo fights Eburn, a close second being the song that plays after Unohana activates her Bankai. I love these new songs and remixes. I often listen to them on repeat, and I think the soundtrack makes a fantastic pair with the great CGI and animation. The music went well with the majority of the scenes. My only nitpick is that I believe that when Yamamoto died, a different song should have played, since I feel the song that was played didn't convey the right emotions. The pacing for the anime was pretty solid. Core 1 covers chapters 480 to 542. I only thought the pacing was going a little too fast in episodes 3 and 8. I do find it unfortunate that these episodes went really fast, since it resulted in content being cut. Other than that, I think the fast nature of the anime suits the war very well. This is especially the case at the start, when we get thrown right into the fray along with some of the characters. 542 is a good place to stop since it's where Ichigo finds out his true nature and gains his true Zanpakuto. There were several cuts and additions made to the anime, and I feel like it's important to discuss them because they are fundamentally different from the events in the manga. The cuts made in the anime were most likely because they either didn't fit the tone of the scene or it didn't fit in the episode due to pacing. One part I didn't like being cut out was the explanation from Mayuri on Ikaku's and Renji's Bankai. Instead of having Mayuri discuss it, it was put in one of the info cards. I have a problem with this, for one, because it's important information, and two, because people often don't read or are unable to read the title cards. So I feel the majority of viewers wouldn't have been able to get this information. I think it's needed so we understand why Ikaku doesn't use his Bankai in the 1000 Year Blood War. I didn't mind the cuts to the comedic parts since sometimes it detracts from the tense atmosphere of the war. I did find it weird though when some comedic moments were cut out during scenes that were meant to be comedic, such as the Rukia's Peach moment. There were two cuts that I liked being cut. The first being Byakuya's eulogy. When I read the manga, I found this scene to be kinda cringe. I didn't feel like it was Byakuya's place to talk about Sasakibe as if they were close friends. I am aware that the Kushiki clan are the record keepers of the Soul Society, but it seemed like Byakuya was acting like a friend despite the fact that we don't see them acting like friends to each other in the series. The second cut was during the conversation between Kisuke and Chad. The cut that was made was to Chad's dialogue where in the manga, Chad was doubting Ichigo. It really came out of nowhere and it seemed out of character for Chad, so I'm glad it was dropped. Now for the additions. One of the most substantial additions to the anime were with Uryu. Throughout Core 1, there's scenes sprinkled of Uryu understanding the war and choosing a side. I'm glad this addition was made since it gives context to Uryu's decision at the end of Core 1. Getting to see Yuha invade Hueco Mundo was a nicely done scene as well. The CGI work is well done for Yuha's Reiatsu, and I loved hearing his theme. The Ichigo vs Yuha fight is my favorite fight of Core 1, and it's an anime original scene. The fight was mind-blowing to see, and I really didn't see it coming. In the manga, Ichigo just launches a Getsuga Tensho and that's it. Like I said before, the fight looks good and the soundtrack that went with it was excellent. The old Gote 13 scene made episode 7 one of my favorite episodes of the core. In the manga, we see a silhouette of each of them, but in the anime we get to see them more clearly and are given more information about what happened the day the Quincy's attacked 1,000 years ago. Lastly, the Karakura gang killing the Hollows was great to see. Like the Ichigo vs Yuha fight, it was paired with fantastic animation and music. I believe that Core 1 of Bleach's 1,000-Year Blood War was great. The animation, CGI, and soundtrack were fantastic. I enjoyed most of the episodes, and I think Studio Pierrot put their heart and soul into the production of Core 1. Taguchi brought his A-game when it came to his directorial work and storyboarding. I loved every episode that he worked on. Shiro Sagasu as well has been putting in work with the Bleach franchise since the series first got an anime. I loved his music then and I still love it now. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know whether you agreed or disagreed with me and any suggestions you have for future content.
Bye bye!